join us in the singing of the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see?
And celebrate the life of Dr. Tfiloh Chase III, known endearingly to us as Dr. Chase, or Terry. Dear friend and mentor to his colleagues, revered teacher to his Beth Tfiloh students, beloved father to Katie, Mark, and now Adam, loving husband, partner, and best friend to Anne, and role model to us all. In truth, we thought he'd live forever. This tall and dignified man, well-spoken and wise, intelligent and insightful, kind and compassionate, a gentleman and a gentle man. Born in Providence, Rhode Island, believe it or not, Terry struggled through school, only learning what he was interested in. He was tutored and went to summer school because he was aching to go to Yale. Not for the reasons you'd think, but because he wanted to join the swim team. For 18 years, he was a camper where he learned to sail and learned to swim. He developed a passion for both and wanted to continue that in the college of his choice. His mother was a teacher who encouraged him, or maybe nagged him, to keep trying, and he did, leading him not only to Yale, but to Oxford as well. In 1965, his world shifted. Not something you can read about in death notice in a newspaper. Anne and Terry had heard about each other for 2 years. She was an opera singer, his housemaster was her accompanist, and he wanted nothing to do with that strange opera singer. And she wanted no part of that 26-year-old jock who drove a Mercedes. A friend invited them both to the same gathering. They looked across the room at each other, and it was love at first sight. Anne said they could have been married the next day, but it wouldn't be very proper, and we all know that even then, Terry would be proper. His first words to her, listen carefully folks, were, "Could I show you my record collection?" And the rest is history. Though Anne was the first American in the Royal College of Music Opera School, though she sang for Saul Lilienstein at the Hartford Opera Company, though classical music always was a shared passion, when Katie and Mark were born, her top priority was being a wife and a mother. And she stood by his side as he stood by hers until the very end. She said to him at the end, "What two lucky people we are. God saved the best for last, my dear, and put you in such a place at such a time with such people." And told me that he considered these 16 years at Beth Tfiloh the happiest years of his life. And what a tribute that is. A tribute to his colleagues, but mostly a tribute to his students, whom he considered a privilege to teach. What he gave his students was a rare treasure. He gave them a piece of himself, a glimpse into the incisive mind of a scholar, a sense that learning is an adventure and knowledge is a precious acquisition. He modeled for them a dignity and a respect that made them want to show him the same. He often commented to me that he had never been in a school where students thanked the teacher when leaving the room at the end of a lesson. In truth, he would say, "I should thank them," and he did, by showing that he believed in you, that he had confidence in you, that he knew that you could do it. And you did, because Dr. Chase expected it. He expected the same from his colleagues as well. He would frequently leave me articles, some about Israel, politics, current events, education, subjects we love to discuss with one another. Rabbi Fink said to me, we had better read those articles because I knew we would be tested on. Each time an article appeared on my desk, I expected him to ask me to write a DBQ, and I don't even know what a DBQ is. He had something in common with you graduates, you know. He too held a diploma from Beth Tfiloh Dahan High School. Just this past June, Terry was awarded, together with Mr. Ballenbach, who drove 650 miles today to be here, an honorary diploma from Beth Tfiloh for 50 years of teaching, for service to teaching, to his students, and service to Beth Tfiloh. I was able to hand him that very same diploma that I've been blessed to hand to each and every one of the graduates that are here in this room today. How proud he was of that diploma. This scholar, this man who held diplomas from Oxford and Yale, asked his wife to bring his framed Beth Tfiloh diploma to the hospital, where it lit up his face with the satisfaction of knowing that he had made a difference. That diploma and the yearbook dedication were the most precious expressions of our regard, our respect, and our love for him. And he knew it. And how happy I am that he did, that he died knowing how much he meant to us, how much we cared. Should we take anything from this, it is just this. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Take advantage of the moment to tell someone that you care, to let someone know that they matter, to say, I need you, to say, I love you. Our father Abraham, and we have a shared father, taught us what to do after losing a loved one. The Bible describes how Abraham eulogized Sarah, his beloved wife. Vatamat Sarah, vayavo Abraham lispod l'Sarah v'livkota, vayakam Abraham me'al pnei meto. Sarah died, and Abraham cried for her loss. And then it says, vayakam Abraham, and Abraham rose up and went on. And that's what Terry would have wanted us to do. But our rabbis add a beautiful interpretation to this verse. The verse appears in the Torah with a tiny letter in the word livkota. He cried for her. A tiny letter kaf. And our sages tell us there is a small kaf because though our grief is great, the full extent of our weeping is inside of us, deep within us, private, not public, just like Terry. My favorite Terry story took place before Rosh Hashanah one year and was quite instructive, as were many of our conversations. I said, thinking I was speaking English, Dr. Chase, it should be a good, healthy year. And he looked at me with that thoughtful expression of his and nodded and said, yes, it should. So I will repeat in his name, yes, it should be a good year, where we put behind us the tragedies that have befallen our Beth Tfiloh community. And though our grief is great, as was Abraham's, and we mourn deeply and privately, we must also celebrate the extraordinary good fortune, the wonderful blessing of having had this unique man in our lives for these past years. Remember what Anne said to Terry. God saved the best for last, my dear. Let us cry because he's gone, but let us smile because he lived. May his soul be bound up in the bonds of eternal life. May he rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. We will hear from Miss Julie Rappaport, class of '06, and on behalf of teachers, wonderful dear colleague and friend, Mrs. Debbie Allen, followed by a prayer by Rabbi Aaron Frank and Mr. Joel Monroe, an introduction of a special presentation by Eric Mansky, Student Council President.